Researchers conducted the measurements in 2003 and discovered that Kansas is, in fact, flat as a pancake. Sure, the Earth is round and not flat. Otherwise, travelers would constantly be tumbling down the edge. Right? Wrong. If the Earth were a flat disk, like this plate, as opposed to a ball, then, living in the middle could seem rather typical given the weight, density, and thickness. However, gravity on a disk Earth would slightly distort as you moved closer to the edge, pushing back toward the center at an ever-increasing angle. This fantastic simulation was created by my friend Nick from Yeti Dynamics. Although the person and buildings are plainly not to size, consider how such gravity along a diagonal would work. Despite being a flat disk, this would feel it appeared as though the runner was struggling to ascend an increasingly steep slope as they moved toward the edge. Hill. Hello and welcome to KYC News. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Building pillars may be seen behind the runner. Consider how you would need to construct things that were ever closer to the edge so that people living in them gave us the impression that the ground was always at an acute angle. It on our large, round Earth. Getting closer to the edge would cause things to scary. Keeping in mind that this is a flat Earth, it would feel like a cliff's edge. What's awesome is that, in contrast to the fear of don't tumble off the edge would be terrifying on a flat planet due of gravity. Actually be rolling back to the center after dropping away from the edge. Instead of dropping off into space as you cross the threshold, you may unwind after doing so. It would be a pleasant, level area. Of course, this approach ignores the reality that such a planet-like form is not possible. Anything the size of the Earth and resembling a flat disk would inevitably become a ball again due to gravity. Because of this, everything in outer space that is larger than a few hundred miles in diameter is spherical. As far as we know. What if gravity doesn't exist? What if science was mistaken all along and the Earth is actually flat? It's a myth that Christopher Columbus made the discovery that the Earth is spherical. Almost every major Western academic and religious institution acknowledged Earth's rotundity because the ancient Greeks, who, for instance, had seen that boats disappear, or at least the bottom first, when departing. Stars can be seen as you move north and south, slipping in and out of vision. The falsehood that there are just a few hundred. Many people believed that the Earth was flat for a very long time, maybe starting in the modern era, as a form of slur. Period. Well, recently, your people believed that the Earth. Why should we believe you now when it was flat? The smear was spread widely and repeatedly. It was acknowledged as historical truth. The term flat earther came to mean anti-science. Although it may appear flat across short distances, the Earth is actually quite round. Awfully curvy, spanning the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. Staten Island and Brooklyn had to be planned with the spherical nature of the Earth in mind. Despite being separated by 1,300 meters and being exactly vertical, its two towers are only 41 millimeters apart. Top to bottom are farther apart than bottom to top due to the curvature of the Earth. Eratosthenes measured the variations in shadows cast by poles in the 3rd century BC. Calculations were made in Syene and Alexandria more than 2,000 years before rockets and space exploration. The entire spherical Earth's circumference with, for the time, astounding accuracy. After that, rumors spread that the Earth was shaped like a sphere. However, Wilbur Glenn Voliva took the helm of a somewhat odd religious sect in 1906. Basically controlled Zion, Illinois. Voliva was convinced that the Earth was. He imposed the flat Earth doctrine in Zion's educational institutions. That conviction was also imposed on pretty much everyone who entered the city. Voliva thought the sun was only a few thousand years old and that the Earth was flat. Miles from the planet. Not 93 million. In addition, he thought the sun was just 32 miles across rather than 860,000. Or does he just sound insane? You see, It's the same thing Eratosthenes. If the sun were only a few thousand miles away, the measured could be explained by a flat Earth. The math would be the same for 32 miles across. Modern flat earthers have continued Volova's work thanks to the internet's power today. Stop that. They provide very solid justifications for any you present them with proof that the Earth is round. Essentially, circumnavigation is essentially a flat circle path. In the event of a lunar eclipse, Earth's circular shadow on the moon might also be created by a flat object. Time zones are brought about by the sun's beam, and remember how a planet with a disk form would have completely different gravity? They contend that gravity as we currently understand it simply does not exist. Earth's flat disk is only speeding up at 9.8 meters per second. Regarding the numerous images and videos that demonstrate the Earth's spherical shape, I thank you. All of the information related to space exploration is entirely false. A ruse committed by Big Globe, airlines, space agencies, and globe producers. They are benefiting from our uninformed idea that the Earth is spherical. Of course, they are aware that it is flat. They are keeping the fact from us. Is it just a coincidence that the Flat Earth Society's logo is a projection? The United States uses a representation of the Earth that is centered on the North Pole. Nations? Are these individuals real? Maybe not the majority of them. But this is where Poe's law falls flat. A proverb that claims that true extremism and parody of extremism are both extremes are challenging to differentiate. Though intelligent, flat Earth hypotheses are mostly ad hoc justifications or justifications conjured up on the spot that don't address the bigger picture. Fit every piece of evidence. Science naturally discredits a notion if more of our observations are fit with the better one, so why the egotistical concern with our observations? The same process might be used by a cosmic ray particle. Using the scientific approach, we came to the conclusion that the Earth was actually flat. You see, time slows down and lengths shorten at speeds that are close to the speed of light. We know this, for example, because unstable muons produced by the collision in the upper atmosphere before they hit the surface of the Earth, cosmic rays should primarily disintegrate in the atmosphere. However, despite their incredible speed, we can still see several of them down here. Means that their physics operates according to a slower time than ours, but that to them, from their perspective, the distance they must travel to the surface during their brief lifetimes is significantly less time than it seems to us. If you're a proton from a cosmic ray moving at if Earth were moving at 99.9999999999991% the speed of light, it would only appear to be 17 meters thick. Direction in which you move. Therefore, Earth is round to us, but flat to them. Others see it as flat, while others think it has a ball shape. There doesn't seem to be a single best solution that applies to all situations. Knowledge is compared to a crossword puzzle by Susan Haack. Old and new solutions interact, strengthening one another. The inquiries we pose and how the responses fit into a prearranged pattern provide the clues. We are confident that we are headed in the right direction because of the grid. But that does not imply that the puzzle will one day be solved completely. Recall the 1996 New York Times crossword, which was published the day before the U.S. Bill Clinton and Bob Dole faced off in the election. The 39 across clue was somewhat bizarre. To properly respond, it felt as though you would need to be able to predict the future. It only stated, front page article in tomorrow's newspaper, blank, chosen. Who knows till tomorrow one of the two candidates will fill in the gap, Clinton or Bob Dole? It is impossible to know. But as it turned out, Clinton was the solution. Etc. Bob Dole, regardless of what you wrote, every other clues match. A black Halloween animal, for instance, be a cat or a bat, but not both. Our familiarity with the outside world could resemble that. A riddle with no solution and only assurance, because since the solutions fit together, they are probably accurate. Although it's always possible that one or more of the clue's solutions will essentially lack a single unambiguous satisfactory solution. Playing the puzzle might go on forever. I agree with Richard Feynman on this. How can you live without knowing? Some people ask. I am unsure about their meaning. It is simple to live without knowledge at all times. I'm interested in learning how you came to know. You realize? And as usual, thank you for watching.